We're so excited about our brand new upcoming program because we'll be featuring testimonies from our Victory Outreach family, and that means you.
A few years after my parents had divorced, I began to experiment a little bit with cocaine. I remember taking my first line of cocaine at about 12 years old. And at that point, I was like, for me, it was just a getaway from the responsibility of trying to take care of my family, just getting away from the problems that my mom was going through, not being able to talk to my dad.
Well, growing up, I had my mom and mainly there. My dad was always in and out of my life. He actually was in and out of prison, and he was addicted to heroin.
I started drinking when I was 12 and smoking cigarettes, and I started smoking coke. And once that happened, it was all over. To me, that was the best high that I had ever had.
I got sucked in. I got sucked in with the easy money. I got sucked in with the power. I got sucked in with the women, and finding a place. I think for years you find yourself lost. You find yourself, not fitting in with the right crowd.
I remember just waking up in my passenger seat in the Walmart parking lot, overdosed, and my best friend, he left me there for dead. I woke up and it felt like there was a shock that went through my whole body. It was a pain I never felt.
I started getting insecure, in myself, because I would see all the other girls at the clubs, all skinny, so I got insecure within my my weight, it was just myself, my complex, and I started going to crystal meth.
And I still was wanting to get high, so the best way I could think of to do it was to start selling myself.
So I felt at that point, no one even cared about my life, and I just wanted to really just end my life. And I did as much drugs as I could that night, just try to just take this pain away.
And I remember walking down the street, and this guy pulled over, and he asked me if I wanted to get in the car. And that was the time, that was the lowest point in my life. I turned a trick for $20. I slept with him in the back seat. And I remember when I got out of the car, walking into my filthy apartment, and I just sat in the shower, and I thought, I just want to die. Because I thought, man, I just sold myself for $20, and I wanted to die.
Drugs, depression, anger, bitterness. He rescued me from a life of just going in the wrong direction, but thank God for loving sisters that found Victory Outreach.
My mom, actually, she got me and my brother together, and she said, hey, look, I know that you guys are doing drugs. I'm not dumb. I took care of your dad for 16 years on drugs. And I'm not gonna watch you guys do the same thing. She's like, so either, and she told me, she's like, I talked to your uncle and I heard about this Victory Outreach. And either you go to Victory Outreach or you have to get out of my house.
Finally, I just broke down. And I just broke down, and I remember I was in a closet, and I remember about hearing that if God was real, I cried out to God, and I said, God, if you're real, can you change my life?
And I just remember just crying and crying to God because I knew there was a God. My parents, they always taught me there was a God, there was Jesus, and I cried out. And it was the next day that I called my mom, and she was like, you know what, I'll take you to this place called Victory Outreach, and it's a men's home, you gotta be there for a year. And I said, all right, I'll go.
And they put me in a home, 14 years ago, they put me in a home. And just the fact that God seen fit to find a guy like me and change my life around, it's unbelievable.
I started finding out that he has a purpose for me, and that there's hope, and that I don't have to be like everybody else, and that God didn't call me to be like everybody else, but that he has chosen me. And so as I began to realize that, and I began to learn about just God in the home, they just gave me God.
But when someone told me that Jesus would love me no matter what, no matter the condition I was in, that was the best news I ever heard.
And that was the moment where I had experienced, the Lord. And, several months later, I went into a Victory Outreach men's home, and that's where God really got a hold of my life.
And I went, June 5th of 2008, I went in, and that day they led me to the Lord when I was getting sick. And the next day I was delivered from heroin. I woke up, I didn't have pains, I didn't have withdrawals. It was like the power of God touched my life.
And I cried out and I said, please, I'm filthy inside, I need help. And the love of God, He touched my heart and changed me, and I'll never be the same. And that's my story.
All you got to do is log on to victoryoutreach.org and click on Treasures, and you'll find topics that can relate to your background, and we'd love to feature you on our new program.
So be looking forward to our brand new program that's coming out real soon.